Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Welcome to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and we are continuing our series of programs about the military. And in this program, we're going to continue to talk about the Air Force. We had a program last Sunday, and you met Jeremy Newsom at that time. And we talked about some of the career opportunities and some of the process of entering. But today, I want us to really get down to talking about the competitive opportunities as well as some of the specific perks that are available to those that sign up for a career or for a tour of duty in the military. And so it's a real pleasure to have you again with us, Jeremy, and thank you for coming back. And one of the first things I want to ask you is, you told us last week that you had not really had a long-term goal to be in the military, and you just kind of spontaneously decided when you were a senior in high school that you were going to join because this would be a good opportunity for you to get your education paid for and to see the world. Yes, Am I summarizing that pretty well?
Yes, ma'am.
And after you got in, you married a military woman who did not stay in. Mm-hmm. You're staying in as a career. You expect to be through your full 20 years. But she won't because you wanted to have a family.
Yes, ma'am.
And you felt like it was better. So she got out and is now going to college to complete her degree, but she is going under a payment plan through the Air Force.
Yes, ma'am, that is
so all of that is a good plan for y'all. And you chose, when you went in, heating and air conditioning because you were looking ahead to the time when you would be getting out in 20 years, and you wanted to have a good, feasible career choice then.
Exactly.
But and my first question about that was, how do you keep updated? Because 20 years from now, the air conditioning system won't be just like it. Mm-hmm. So you are continuing to take classes and training and all of the things to keep you updated so that in 20 years you will be cutting edge. Is that right?
Ma'am, that is correct. I want to kind of rewind a little bit. I actually joined the Air Force my 11th grade year in high school. We have a program to where it gives people, if you're 17 years old and in your junior year, you can join the Air Force. I didn't leave for basic training until, of course, after I graduated. Then I was going.
But you made the commitment when you were a junior.
Yes, ma'am. But the way we stay up to date with all of our training and things like that is we learn all of our training from a civilian standpoint. So whenever something new comes out in the civilian world, we're getting trained on it at the same time that civilians are. So in that way, we're able to keep all our skills fresh so we don't fall behind the curve.
And the big thing that you said is you're training for that job because you're taking care of these little cities within a city.
Yes, ma'am.
At the air bases that you're stationed at. And so they're going to have good, up-to-date equipment at those bases. And so when you get in, can you change your career path?
Oh, most definitely. The Air Force, we want you to be versatile. So if you come in and, let's say at one time when I came in, I wanted to do heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. About 4 years later in my career, I was like, well, I like that job. I want to do something different. You definitely do have the opportunity to get a different job as long as you qualify for it. The Air Force is going to give you that opportunity to learn a different trade, learn something new so you can kind of be more well-rounded.
Well, at the time you made your commitment as a junior, did you have to say, I'm going to do this as a career, or could you have said, I don't know whether I'm going to stay in just for my 4 years or I'm going to stay in for the 20 years?
You have to do it in 4 or 6 year spans. So every time when you first come in, you decide whether you want to do 4 or 6 years. Later on in your career, you decide on whether you do it for 4 or 6 years. And then
so
after
just
all
kind of
that
keep
time,
upping.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you just do stair steps.
Exactly. Because life changes. So 4 years from now, I may decide, well, maybe I don't want to make this career. And I don't want to say that 10 years ago I made a 20-year commitment for something I don't want to do anymore.
Well, see, that gives you a lot of versatility when you're a junior, and maybe you're going to change your mind in your career path, or you're going to change your mind about staying the whole time. And I was thinking about, I had a little friend who really always had wanted a career in the military. And after he got in, both his mom and dad became very ill. And so he did not re-up and went back to take care of them.
Exactly.
And so there were circumstances in his life that forced him to make a decision he really didn't want to make.
Yes, ma'am. And that's what life is all about. We have to be ready for it.
That's right. Good. Well, one of the things that I noticed on this card that you had handed me, a lot of the opportunities that are listed, and one of the things is competitive pay with regular raises, and I think that's something really important, because I'd never thought about what is your pay in the military, but I know I've heard people say, well, my pay grade is such and such.
Yes, ma'am.
But so you feel comfortable that the Air Force keeps up with the competitive pay schedule?
Definitely, yes, ma'am.
And then tax-free housing and food allowance. So that means that wherever you're stationed, you have food allowances and housing allowances that you don't have to pay taxes on.
Exactly, yes, ma'am. It's one of the perks that we do have.
That is a good perk. And you get 30 days of vacation with pay each year. That's a whole month.
Yes, ma'am.
That is a good vacation package.
So it gives you the opportunity if you want to travel and see a lot of things.
While you were stationed in Korea, you could have taken your 30 days just to go around and travel in Europe and
Yes,
other places, or you could have come back home and stayed.
And that's exactly what I did during my 30 days. I went over to Paris for a couple weeks, had the opportunity to go to England for a little while. Then I spent 2 weeks at home with my family, so I had to get my own time as well as get my family time. Just a week ago, I was in Germany. Took some time off from work, and I just traveled to see a different location.
Because you got to hop on a plane, a military plane, and got to go free.
So it gives you the opportunity to see a lot of different things. And, see a lot of, so later on in my life, I can tell my children, I got to see this, I got to see that. And it's a lot of experiences that you get to learn.
Could you have taken your wife with you to Germany?
Yes, ma'am. She actually went. My wife and my daughter went with me.
Oh, your daughter
It was a family trip.
How wonderful. Oh, my gosh. And then recreational and hobby facilities.
Every base is going to have a gym, a top-of-the-line fitness facility, so if you want to go out and work out, play basketball, play football. We have sports teams on base, so if you're in a football team here, you can continue that on base. We're going to have soccer fields, everything that you can think of.
We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation, because I've got a whole list of additional opportunities and perks that we haven't even talked about. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.